It's Hilti time. G'day hammerheads, welcome back to the bench. And today we've got a very special episode. It is the long-awaited Hilti TE4 performance test. And you know what? It's been such a long time since I got this one that I've actually gotten another one. So I'm going to throw him into the TE2. Let's see how they go. So yes, hammerheads, this is still the A22 version, the 22 volt system that Hilti has had around for about a decade now. The new Nuron system is not out in Australia yet, so I thought this was a good time to put these two through their paces, as well as give us a good baseline for when I do get the Nuron, which will hopefully be pretty soon, and we will be able to get a good idea of what Hilti is all about. So the wallaby in the room here is going to be that these are not brand new tools, unlike pretty much all my others. I was not able to get these guys brand new from the retailer because basically it's just too bloody expensive, you know. To buy all this stuff with the charger and whatever, it's almost $2,000 Australian. But just by keeping an eye on the secondhand market, I was able to get these guys for something like 400 bucks. So big saving there. And you know what? I'm just buying these guys with my own money to do these tests. So, well, you know, got to compromise sometime. So this guy, as we've seen in a previous video from quite a while ago now, this was like a display model. It is actually from 2013, but just sitting around on someone's shelf for, you know, 8 or 9 years. She's still in very good nick. And the TE2, this one has seen some very light use. Honestly, it's in sort of the same condition that a lot of my rotary hammers are. The one exception is some dickhead has taken to this with some kind of scraper, presumably to try and remove some engraving markings that they had on there. So with any pre-loved tools, the battery is of course a bit of a concern, but Hilti does make bloody amazing batteries. This guy still seems to work great. And she still holds a full charge. It's more than 22 volts even. Hilti seems to make bloody good batteries. And of course, that kind of longevity is something that you pay for. So obviously Hilti is really good quality. They are the premium power tool manufacturer, at least for concrete drilling stuff anyway. They're just one of those companies where they're just like, nah, we're gonna do it and we're gonna do it bloody well. And yes, you will pay for it, but we will get to see a little bit of what you are actually paying for once we get these guys testing. So we've already seen this one in a previous video, but let's just take a quick look again. So no vibration control, but very nice smooth handle, fits my hand really nicely. And in fact, the rubberized section here, you can't even really feel this seam. I really do like just the plain handle because, you know, you're just holding it. You don't need all these embellishments like a lot of the other brands have. So it's 2-mode, drop motor. Battery indicator lights up when you press the release. And it's got a couple of extra dogs in there to hold this in a kind of safe position. The handle and depth rod are really nice, very solid depth rod. What I really like about the handle, well, firstly, this is all rubberized, so very comfy. But the best thing about it is when you're adjusting it, it takes like half a turn. So to go from here to there, you know, if you've used other brands' handles, you tend to have to screw it a lot. But this is like half a turn maybe. So that's locked. Really nice. And they achieved that with a more complex than average retaining system in there. So this particular one was made in 2013. And as such, it is only rated to 16 millimeters. The newer versions of this are rated to 18, and so at some point they've gone, mate, that's too small. No one's going to buy this giant hammer to just drill such little holes. All right, so let's look at the TE2. So this guy's a pistol grip, inline motor. This one does feel nice in the hand. It's, you know, quite nicely balanced. For a brush tool, it is nice and light, nice and compact. But it does seem a little bit more basic, like not quite as finely made as the bigger one. So one thing is the handle is a more standard kind of, just a choker on there. The molding on here, not quite as nice. This one was built in 2016, rated to 16 millimeters. So at some point between 2013 and 2016, Hilti has promoted this up to 18 millimeters and introduced a smaller hammer. All right, so let's look at the specs. So the price, The TE2 sells for $299 dues, and the TE4 almost double, almost $600. Oh, $591. So the weight is 2.3 kilos versus 2.6. Not too shabby. Capacity 16 millimeters for the TE2 and now 18 for the TE4, previously 16. Impact energy 1.5 joules versus 2 joules. Impacts per minute 5,040 for the TE2 versus 5,200. Revolutions per minute 1090 versus 1050. Impact power, that is these two multiplied together, that is 7,500 joules per minute versus 10,400. So let's check the revs. So 1060, just shy of the 1090. And about 1070, very, very nice. Just over the advertised 1050. Don't see that every day. So the first test I do with compact rotary hammers like this is a small drill. It is 8 by 80 mil, drilling into 32 megapascal concrete. And oh boy, the TE4, the big one, she is fast at this. 6.71 seconds, averaging up a few of those runs. Followed by the TE2, 8.05. And that is, of course, a fair bit faster than the other two tools we've seen at this test, the little Milwaukees. But these guys hit a lot harder than those ones do. So yeah, you expect them to drill faster. And the next test is a standard test I do with all my hammers, 12 by 80 mil, drilling into the same concrete. Alrighty, so TE4 very fast, 10.88 seconds. Actually a bit faster than the higher rated DeWalt DCH 273. Very nicely done from the bigger Hilti there. And the smaller Hilti, a very respectable 16.2 seconds. So compared to the Milwaukee here, these two are both rated 16 millimeters. So pretty similar drilling speed here. But you remember there was a huge difference in the last test, and I'm pretty sure that is because these little drill bits go in pretty tight and the Milwaukee kind of struggled with the torque there. And our final test, as usual, is the maximum capacity test. So the TE2 gets a 16 millimeter bit, TE4 gets an 18 millimeter bit. Let's see how they go. And just for fun, let's throw a 16 mil into the TE4 and see how she goes. So for the max capacity, out of all the drills we've done this particular test with, oh boy, the Hiltis are kicking ass down here. Especially the TE4, lordy, 18.59 seconds. So its actual rated capacity, 18 millimeter, 28.7. You can see a big difference there. And that's actually bringing it just in front of the Milwaukee, doing its 16 millimeter bit, And obviously the big DeWalt's, they were drilling 26mm much slower because it's just a bigger bit. And the TE2, very nice, 23.96 seconds average. So compared to its direct competition, the 16mm Milwaukee, yeah, noticeably faster. So very nice stuff. What we're seeing here is the Hiltis are performing very well despite being pretty old models, pretty old tools in these cases, also brushed. And that is actually giving us a clue as to why these guys are so expensive. So let's go take a look at the specs again. So if we sort by capacity, we can start to get a clue as to why the Hiltis are actually doing what they're doing. So first let's look at the TE2 just here. So that guy's rated at 16mm. So we have a couple of other 16 mils on the chart here. Impact energy, fair bit higher. 1.5 versus, well, 1.1 or 1.4 for the DeWalt. So the impact power is accordingly higher. So yeah, we expect that guy to be drilling a bit faster. And again, if we look at the TE4, so that guy's 18mm. Compared to the other 18mm tools on my chart, the Bosch, the Makita, she does hit harder. And in fact, if we look at the other hammers with similar ratings, so 2 joules, we're moving up to 22, 24mm kind of ratings. So, you know, this Makita, this Metabo, they're both rated 24. And in fact, if we move up to the DeWalt DCH273, the chin that we saw in our last video, that guy's only got 2.1 joules. So the Hilti is rated to 18, but she actually hits as hard as, you know, 22, 24mm kind of sized drills. So it looks to me like these guys are actually underrated, especially this one. You know, this one is rated to 18mm, and it's more like a sort of 22mm hammer. So why the hell would they do that? Well, basically, because they don't want you to break them. By stating smaller capacities than the competition, they're basically trying to get the tools to have a longer lifetime, and that's really what Hilti's sort of business model is all about. These guys have a 20-year manufacturing warranty. So Hilti is all about like robust, long-lasting, well-made stuff. You know, they really want it to be future-proofed. So that's Hilti's whole thing. They want the tools to last a long bloody time. So that means that they're not going to be selling as many units, so they got to charge more for it. But it also means that, you know, as part of their business model, they've just got to keep tools in hands at all times. So that's obviously great for a lot of businesses where, you know, time is money. You don't want to screw around with breakages and downtime for your tools. You just got to have it on you all the time. It's got to be working. They've also got things like capped repair price. So, you know, repairs are capped at 30% of the price of the tool. So fixing one of them will only ever cost you $100 kind of thing. So if you do want to invest in a Hilti, you know, that's the kind of thing you can expect. It's not just going to be a really nice, well-made tool, but it's also going to be the full service package that comes with it. So should you invest in Hilti? Well, I'd say for most of us, probably not. I am a rock climber. I use my rotary hammers mostly on the weekends, bolting climbs. I do not need a $1,500 Hilti package for that. I could get away with, well, I have gotten away with, you know, $400 worth of Makita for a long time. But if you are someone for whom time is money, you really want a reliable tool, you want something that's gonna not break down. If you cannot accept downtime, whatever your business is, then, you know, Hilti is gonna be a good option for you. Definitely look into it. Man, they are super nice tools. But the good news is, if you are a sort of home gamer, weekend warrior like me, you can still get Hilti if you want. I mean, this guy, $300, that is comparable to a lot of the other 16mm drills on the market. The batteries are going to cost a packet, but, you know, pretty achievable if you really want one. Also, I've managed to just keep an eye out and get some really good deals on some used tools. And you know what? They got a 20-year warranty, guys. Like, they're going to be around for a while. So, you know, don't worry about that. Anyway, Hammerheads, thanks very much for watching. As usual, do smash that subscribe button if you are picking up what I'm putting down. Thanks again for watching, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the brushless version of this guy, and I'm really looking forward to when they make a brushless version of this guy. Anyway, hilt on.